David Westfield sat on a dirty street curb and cried. His expensive navy suit was covered in dust. His shiny black shoes touched the gutter. 6 hours ago, he was a king. Now he was nothing. Let me tell you how fast a life can fall apart. At 5 o'clock that evening, David stood in his glass office on the 40th floor. The city sparkled below him like a box of diamonds. His name was carved in gold letters on the wall, Westfield Capital Management. He smiled at his reflection in the window. He was 42 years old and owned the world. His phone rang. Mr. Westfield, this is the Securities and Exchange Commission. We have evidence of fraud. Your accounts are frozen. Your assets are seized. Do not leave the city. The phone slipped from his hand. David's heart hammered in his chest. Fraud? No, there had to be a mistake. He grabbed his cell phone. His fingers shook as he dialed his lawyer. David, I can't represent you, his lawyer said quickly. The evidence is everywhere. They have emails, recordings. You moved money that wasn't yours. You lied to investors. I'm sorry. Click. David's legs felt weak. He sat down hard in his leather chair. The chair that cost $8,000. The chair he bought because it made him feel powerful. Another call came. Then another, and another. His business partner. You destroyed us. I trusted you. His assistant. Security is coming. They're taking everything. You need to leave. A news reporter. Mr. Westfield, how do you respond to accusations that you stole $40 million? David ran. He grabbed his coat and rushed to the elevator. Employees stared at him. Their eyes were cold, angry, scared. He pushed through the lobby doors and stumbled onto the street. His phone buzzed again. This time it was his wife. I saw the news, Caroline said. Her voice was ice. I'm filing for divorce. Tonight, don't come home. Your things will be in storage. My lawyer will contact you. Caroline, please. You lied to me, David, about everything. Goodbye. The call ended. David stood on the sidewalk. People rushed past him, going home to their families, to their dinners, to their normal lives. Nobody looked at him. He was invisible. He walked to his car, but it was gone, repossessed already. Of course. The sun set. The sky turned orange, then purple, then black. David walked for hours. His feet hurt. His mind spun in circles. How did this happen? He had been so careful, so smart. He convinced himself he wasn't really stealing, just borrowing, just moving numbers around. Everyone did it, but they didn't. He did. At 11 o'clock at night, David found himself back where he started, outside his own building. The golden letters still shone in the streetlight, Westfield Capital Management, but they weren't his anymore. Nothing was his anymore. He sat down on the curb, right there on the dirty concrete. And for the first time since he was a little boy, David Westfield cried. He cried big, choking sobs. His shoulders shook. Tears ran down his face and dripped onto his expensive suit. He didn't care who saw him. He didn't care about anything. Mister? David looked up. Through his tears, he saw a small shape, a child, a boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old. He wore torn tan pants and a dirty shirt with holes in it. His feet were bare. His face was smudged with dirt, but his eyes were clear and bright. Go away, David said. His voice cracked. The boy didn't move. He tilted his head like a curious bird. Why are you crying? David wiped his face with his sleeve. That's none of your business. Where are your parents? I don't have any. The boy said it simply, like he was saying the sky was blue. Then go to wherever you sleep. Leave me alone. You're sitting on my spot, the boy said. David looked down. He was sitting on a flattened cardboard box. Someone's bed. Shame burned in David's chest. Even now, even at his lowest, he was taking from someone who had less. I'm sorry, David whispered. He started to stand up. You can stay, the boy said quickly. He sat down next to David on the cardboard, close enough that their shoulders almost touched. Sometimes crying is better with company. David stared at this strange child. Aren't you afraid? I'm a stranger. You're sad, the boy said. Sad people don't usually hurt others. They're too busy hurting inside. The words hit David like a punch. This child, this homeless, barefoot child, understood him better than anyone ever had. What's your name? David asked. Samuel. What's yours? David. He almost said Mr. Westfield, but what was the point? That man was gone. Samuel looked at David's suit, at his gold watch, at his leather shoes. You look rich. David laughed. It was a bitter, broken sound. This morning I was very rich. Tonight I have nothing. How do you lose everything in one day? You make very bad choices, David said. You lie. You cheat. You steal. You think you're smarter than everyone else. And then it all crashes down. Samuel nodded slowly, like this made perfect sense to him. My mama used to say that what you build on lies will always fall. Your mama was smart. Where is she now? She died last winter. It was very cold. David's heart twisted. This child had lost everything too. But Samuel wasn't crying. He wasn't breaking down on a curb. I'm sorry, David said, and he meant it. For a moment, his own pain seemed smaller. It's okay, Samuel said. She taught me a lot before she left. Important things. Like what? Samuel looked up at the dark sky. Stars tried to shine through the city lights. She said kindness doesn't cost money. She said you can always afford to care. She said every person matters, even if they don't have a home or a job or nice clothes. David felt tears coming again. When was the last time he cared about a person just because they were a person? He only cared about people who could give him something. Money, power, status. I don't think I'm a good person, David said quietly. Samuel turned to look at him. His eyes were old and young at the same time. Do you want to be? The question hung in the air. Did he? David had spent 20 years climbing, building, taking. He told himself he was providing for his family, creating jobs, being successful. But the truth crawled up his throat like poison. He wanted to be powerful. He wanted people to fear him, to envy him, to need him. He never once asked if he wanted to be good. I don't know, David whispered. Samuel didn't look disappointed. He just nodded. That's honest. Honest is a good start. They sat together in the darkness. The city hummed around them. Cars passed. A siren wailed in the distance. The streetlight buzzed overhead. David looked at the small boy with dirty feet and torn clothes. Samuel had nothing, less than nothing. But he sat here offering company to a crying stranger. Why are you being kind to me? David asked. I'm probably going to jail. The news says I'm a criminal. I stole money from people who trusted me. Samuel was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that changed everything. Can I hug you? David froze. What? Can I hug you? Samuel repeated. His voice was soft but sure. You look like you need one. David stared at the small boy. A hug? Yes, Samuel said. You look like you need one. Nobody had hugged David in years. Caroline stopped touching him 3 years ago. His daughter lived across the country and rarely called. His parents were dead. His friends. Well, they weren't really friends. They were business connections. And now they all hated him. I don't deserve a hug, David said. His voice shook. I'm a terrible person. I hurt people. I stole from them. Samuel tilted his head. Did you want to hurt them? What? When you took the money, did you want to hurt people? Or did you just want the money? David thought about it. He remembered the first time he moved money that wasn't his. He told himself it was temporary, just until the next deal came through. He would pay it back. Nobody would know. But the next deal failed, so he took more. And more. Each time it got easier. I wanted the money, David admitted. I didn't think about the people. I just didn't think about them at all. That's bad, Samuel said simply. But it's different from wanting to hurt them. How is it different? Samuel picked up a small stone from the gutter. He turned it over in his hands. My friend Marcus, he's 9. He knocked over a lady's coffee last week. He didn't mean to. He was just running, not watching. The coffee spilled everywhere, ruined her white dress. She was so angry. "What happened?" Marcus cried. He said sorry 100 times. He didn't have money to buy her a new coffee, but he stayed and helped her clean up. He offered to wash her dress, even though he doesn't have soap or water. Samuel looked at David. He made a mistake, but he tried to fix it. That's what good people do when they mess up. David felt something crack inside his chest. "I haven't tried to fix anything. I just ran. I made excuses. I blamed other people." "You can't run from what you did," Samuel said. His voice wasn't mean, just honest. "But you can start fixing it now. It's too late. They're going to arrest me. I'll go to prison." "Maybe," Samuel said, "but prison is just where your body goes. Your heart can still choose to be better." David looked at the 7-year-old child. How did he know these things? How was he so calm? "Where do you sleep, Samuel?" "Different places. Sometimes in the doorway of the bank down the street. Sometimes under the bridge. Sometimes here." He patted the cardboard box. "I move around so people don't chase me away." "You're alone out here?" "Every night." "Mostly. There are other kids. We look out for each other." David felt sick while he was sleeping in his mansion on silk sheets. Children were sleeping on cardboard in doorways. "Aren't you scared?" David asked. Samuel shrugged. "Sometimes. But being scared doesn't change anything. You just have to keep going." "How? How do you keep going when you have nothing?" Samuel smiled. It was a small, sad smile. "I don't have nothing. I have my memories of Mama. I have my friends. I have the sunrise every morning. I have the library on. Thursdays when they let us come in for story time. I have the nice lady at the bakery who gives me old bread." He looked at David. "You think having nothing means having no money. But money isn't everything," says the person who never had any, David said bitterly. Samuel didn't get angry. He just said, "You had all the money. Did it make you happy?" David opened his mouth, then closed it. Had he been happy? He worked 90 hours a week. He barely saw his daughter grow up. His wife became a stranger. He couldn't remember the last time he laughed, really laughed. He had everything money could buy, but he couldn't remember the last time he felt joy. "No," David whispered. "I wasn't happy." "Then maybe losing the money isn't the worst thing," Samuel said. Anger flashed through David. "You don't understand. I'm going to lose everything. My house, my reputation, my freedom. People are going to hate me." "Some people already hate you," Samuel said calmly. "You said so yourself. Your wife left. Your partner is angry. The news calls you a criminal." "Exactly. My life is over." "No," Samuel said firmly. "Your old life is over. That's different." David wanted to yell, to argue, but the words got stuck in his throat. Samuel continued. "My old life ended when Mama died. I had a home then. Not a big one, but it was warm. Mama worked at the grocery store. We had food. We had blankets. Then she got sick, and we couldn't pay the hospital. She died, and the landlord threw me out." His eyes got shiny with tears, but he didn't cry. "My old life ended, but I'm still here. I'm still alive. I still get to choose what kind of person I am." "But you're a child," David said. "You didn't do anything wrong." "I did. I deserve this." Samuel looked at him for a long time. "Maybe you do deserve bad things. I don't know. But does that mean you don't deserve any kindness ever again?" The question hit David like cold water. "My mama told me something before she died," Samuel said softly. She said, "Samuel, everyone is fighting a hard battle. Everyone. Even the mean people. Even the rich people. Even the people who hurt others. They're all fighting something inside them." She said we should try to be kind anyway. Even to people who don't deserve it. Especially to people who don't deserve it. That's when kindness means the most. Samuel stood up. He was so small. His bare feet were dirty and scarred. "So I'll ask again. Can I hug you?" David felt tears spilling down his face again. "Why? Why would you want to hug me?" "Because you're hurting. Because you're alone. Because kindness is free and I can afford to give it. Samuel stepped closer. And maybe because I'm hurting and alone too. Maybe we both need it. Something broke inside David. All his walls, all his pride, all his excuses. They shattered like glass. Yes, he choked out. Please. Samuel wrapped his small arms around David's shoulders. The hug was gentle but firm. The boy's head barely reached David's chest. He smelled like dirt and rain, and something sweet, maybe the old bread from a bakery. David hugged him back. He held this small, brave child and cried into his hair. He cried for all the people he hurt, for the money he stole, for the lies he told, for the family he lost, for the man he used to be and the man he became. But he also cried because someone was being kind to him, someone who had every reason not to be, someone who had nothing to gain. They stayed like that for a long time. Cars passed. The wind blew. The city kept moving. Finally, Samuel pulled back. His eyes were wet too. Feel better? David nodded. He did. The pain was still there. The fear was still there. But something else was there too. Something warm and light he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Thank you, David whispered. You're welcome. Samuel sat back down on the cardboard. What are you going to do now? I don't know. I should turn myself in. Face what I did. That sounds scary. It is. David wiped his face. But running sounds worse now. I'm tired of running. Samuel nodded. Running makes you more tired than standing still. David almost smiled. How are you so wise? I'm not wise. I just don't have money or TV or games to distract me. So I think a lot, and I watch people. You learn things when you're invisible. You're not invisible to me, David said. Not anymore. Samuel smiled. A real smile this time. It lit up his whole face. David reached into his jacket pocket. His wallet was still there. He pulled it out and opened it. $500 in cash. It was all he had left. Everything else was frozen or seized. Here, David said, holding out the money. Take it. Buy food. Buy shoes. Find a warm place to sleep. Samuel looked at the money, but didn't take it. That's a lot. It's all I have, but you need it more than I do. What will you do without it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You need it. Samuel shook his head slowly. I can't take all of it. Why not? Because there are other kids who need it too. And because... Samuel looked at David carefully. Because I think you need to do something good with it. Something that helps fix what you broke. David stared at the money in his hand. Then at the small boy who just taught him more about life than 42 years had taught him. Will you show me? David asked. Show me who needs help? Samuel's face lit up. Really? Really? I can't fix everything I did wrong. But maybe I can start. Samuel jumped his feet. Come on. I know exactly where to go. He grabbed David's hand with his small, dirty fingers. And together, they walked into the night. Samuel led David through dark streets. They walked for 10 minutes, turning corners, crossing alleys. David had driven past these streets 1,000 times in his expensive car. He never really saw them. Now he saw everything. A woman sleeping under newspapers. A man digging through a trash can for food. A teenage girl sitting in a doorway, rocking back and forth, talking to herself. How many people live out here? David asked. In this neighborhood? Maybe 100. In the whole city? Samuel shrugged. Too many to count. They stopped in front of an old warehouse. The windows were broken. The door hung crooked on its hinges. This is it, Samuel said. This is what? Home. For some of us. Samuel pushed the door open. Inside, the warehouse was dark except for a few candles. As David's eyes adjusted, he saw them. Children. So many children. They lay on blankets and cardboard. Some slept. Some whispered to each other. Some just stared at nothing. David counted quickly. 20. Maybe 25 kids. The oldest looked about 15. The youngest couldn't be more than 4. Where are their parents? David whispered. Gone. Dead. In jail. Sick. Left them. Samuel said it matter-of-factly. We take care of each other now. A girl about 10 years old walked over. She had tangled black hair and suspicious eyes. Who's this? This is David, Samuel said. He's sad, and he wants to help. Rich people don't help, the girl said. She crossed her arms. They walk past us like we're trash. David felt ashamed. She was right. He had walked past people like her every day. You're right, David said quietly. I did that. I'm sorry. The girl blinked. She wasn't expecting an apology. David has money, Samuel said, and he wants to use it to help us. Other children started gathering around. Their faces were thin. Their clothes were torn. But their eyes were sharp and alive. A small boy, maybe 6, tugged on David's sleeve. Do you have food? David's heart broke. No, but I have money to buy food. How much? Asked the 10-year-old girl. David pulled out his wallet. He showed them the $500. This much? The children gasped. To them, it was a fortune. We could eat for a month, said a boy with glasses. We could buy blankets, said a girl with one shoe. We could get medicine for Tommy. He's been coughing for weeks, said the oldest boy, pointing to a small figure in the corner. David looked at Samuel. Can we do all that with this money? Samuel nodded. If we're smart, if we don't waste it. The 10-year-old girl, her name was Rosa, stepped forward. Why are you doing this? What do you want from us? Nothing, David said. I did bad things. I hurt people. I can't fix all of it, but maybe I can help you. Rosa studied his face. You're that man on the news, the one who stole all that money. David's stomach dropped. Yes. The children whispered to each other. Some looked scared. Some looked angry. Are the police looking for you? Rosa asked. Yes. Are you hiding here? No. I'm going to turn myself in tomorrow morning. Then why are you here tonight? David looked at Samuel, then back at Rosa. Because someone showed me kindness when I didn't deserve it, and it changed something in me. I can't run away from what I did, but I can choose to be different starting now. Samuel smiled. Rosa thought for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay, we'll take your help, but we're going to spend the money ourselves. We know what we need. That's fair, David said. They sat together on the floor. Rosa pulled out a notebook and a pencil. First food. We need rice, beans, bread, peanut butter. Things that last. Medicine for Tommy, added the boy with glasses. Socks, said the little 6-year-old. My feet are so cold. For the next hour, they made a list. The children knew exactly what they needed. They had been surviving on nothing for so long that they knew every dollar mattered. David listened, really listened. These children were smarter than most of the adults he knew. They planned. They shared. They looked out for each other. Why don't you go to a shelter? David asked. The shelters are full, Rosa said, and they split up families. They'd take the little ones to one place, and the big kids to another. We stay together. Plus, some shelters aren't safe, Samuel added quietly. Bad things happen sometimes. David felt sick. The world had failed these children. The system was broken. And people like him, rich, powerful people, never noticed. I want to do more, David said suddenly. After tomorrow, I'll probably go to prison. But before I do, I want to help create something. A real shelter. A safe place for kids like you. With what money? Rosa asked. You said you're broke. I am, but I know people. I know how to raise funds. I know how to build organizations. David pulled out his phone. It still had battery. I can make calls. I can tell my story. Maybe some people will listen. Why would they listen to a criminal? Asked the boy with glasses. Maybe they won't, David admitted, but I have to try. Because what I see here, he looked around at the children's faces. This is wrong. You deserve better. Every child deserves better. Samuel sat down next to him. What made you change your mind? About helping? David thought about it. You did. You showed me that people aren't just numbers or dollar signs. You're a person. These kids are people. I forgot that. I forgot that every decision I made affected real human beings. Will you remember now? Samuel asked. Yes, I promise I will. The children talked late into the night. They made plans. David used his phone to research youth shelters, food banks, and organizations that help homeless children. He made a list of people to call, people from his old life who might still listen. Around 3 in the morning, the little ones fell asleep. Rosa covered them with the few blankets they had. Samuel walked David back outside. The sky was starting to lighten. Dawn was coming. You should get some sleep, David said. So should you. Big day tomorrow. David laughed sadly. Yeah, I turned myself in. Face the consequences. Are you scared? Terrified. That's okay. Brave people are scared too. They just do it anyway. They walked together toward the police station. It was 15 blocks away. Neither of them was in a hurry. Samuel, David said, can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you help me tonight? Really? You could have walked past me like everyone else. Samuel thought about it. Because Mama taught me that every person is good in them somewhere, even people who do bad things. She said our job is to help find that good part. Water like a plant. Help it grow. What if the good part is too small? What if I can't change? Then at least you tried. That matters too. They reached the police station steps. David stopped. The building looked huge and scary. I don't know if I can do this, David whispered. Samuel took his hand. You already did the hard part. You admitted you were wrong. You chose to stop running. Walking up those steps is just the next step. David squeezed a small hand. What will happen to you? To the other kids? We'll keep going, like we always do. But now we have food for a month, and medicine for Tommy, and socks for Marcus. You gave us that. It's not enough. No, Samuel agreed. But it's something, and something is always better than nothing. David knelt down so he was eye level with Samuel. I'm going to fix this, however long it takes. I'm going to create a place where kids like you don't have to sleep in warehouses, where you have beds and food and people who care about you. That's my promise. That's a good promise, Samuel said. But remember, you can't help anyone if you don't forgive yourself first. How do I do that? One day at a time. One good choice at a time. Every morning is a new chance. You just have to choose better. David pulled Samuel into a hug. Thank you for everything. You saved my life tonight. You saved mine too, Samuel whispered. You reminded me that good people still exist, even when they make mistakes. They pulled apart. Samuel stepped back. Go on, the boy said. They're waiting for you. David stood up. He looked at the police station doors. Then back at Samuel. Will I ever see you again? Samuel smiled. Maybe. The world is funny that way. People come back when you need them. David nodded. He took a deep breath. Then he started climbing the steps. At the top, he turned around one last time. Samuel was still there, watching. The sunrise was breaking behind him, painting the sky orange and pink. The barefoot boy looked like a small warrior, standing alone but not defeated. Samuel raised his hand in a wave. David waved back. Then he opened the door and walked inside. The police were surprised to see him. Mr. Westfield, we were about to issue a warrant. I know, David said. I'm here to confess. To everything. And then I'd like to make some calls. I want to set up a fund for homeless youth. I want to create safe shelters. I want to use whatever skills I have left to help fix a problem I ignored for too long. The officer looked confused. Sir, you understand you're likely going to prison? I do, but prison is just where my body will be. My heart can still choose to do good. Someone very wise taught me that tonight. As they led him to the interrogation room, David looked out the window. The sun was fully up now. A new day, a new chance. He thought about Samuel's words. Every morning is a new chance. You just have to choose better. David had lost everything. His money, his status, his freedom. But in one night, a 7-year-old boy with bare feet and a big heart taught him what real wealth looked like. It looked like kindness, like caring when you have every reason not to, like choosing to be better even when the world has given up on you. David Westfield walked forward into his consequences, but for the first time in 20 years, he walked with hope because he finally understood you don't measure wealth in dollars. You measure in hugs from strangers who become friends, in promises to children who deserve better, in second chances you give yourself to choose differently. That kind of wealth, no one can ever take it away. If this story touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you. What did Samuel teach you about kindness? Have you ever received help from an unexpected stranger? Or given help to someone who didn't deserve it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else who's struggling. And if you believe in second chances and the power of compassion, please like this story to help others find it. Share it with someone who needs to remember that it's never too late to choose better. Subscribe for more stories about real people, real struggles, and the surprising moments that change everything. Remember, every morning is a new chance. Every person matters. And kindness is the one currency that never runs out. Thank you for reading. Thank you for caring. And thank you for believing that people can change. See you in the next story.